Hey, it is day 11 of a series I'm doing where I'm inviting you to read John with me to start 2026. And if this is your first video watching, what this series looks like is each day we read a chapter of John, and each day I post a video sharing what I liked and what stood out to me about the chapter for that day. And each day you can say what you liked about the chapter too in the comments, and it can be like our own little Bible study to start the year to help keep a daily Bible habit to start 2026. So if you haven't joined us, I'd love for you to join us. Today is day 11, so that means we read chapter 11 of John today. Here is what I liked about it. Chapter 11 is about the story of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead, but I want to focus on the story that's in the build-up to it. This chapter starts out with Mary and Martha, who are sisters, sending word to Jesus that their brother Lazarus is sick. Jesus is good friends with Lazarus and Mary and Martha, and when the word reaches Jesus, he says this in verse 4, "This sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory so that God's Son may be glorified through it." And Jesus loved Martha and Mary and Lazarus, as it says in verse 5, which is why his next response is surprising in verse 6, where it says, "So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days." I'm sorry, huh? You would think that it would say that Jesus heard that Lazarus was sick and immediately went to go heal him. But instead, Jesus stayed where he was for 2 more days. But this is because Jesus had purpose in it. He knew that his plan wasn't to heal Lazarus from the sickness, but to instead raise him from the dead. But Martha and Mary didn't know this. By the time Jesus gets to Martha and Mary, Lazarus is already dead. And Martha comes out to meet Jesus and says, "Lord," Martha said to Jesus, "if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus tells Martha, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" And Martha does believe him, but she thinks that Jesus is talking about how Lazarus will rise at the resurrection. She then goes and gets Mary, who comes to Jesus and says the same thing to him, that if he would have been there, her brother would not have died. And we see that Jesus, even though he knows he's about to raise Lazarus from the dead, is still sad because he knows what Martha and Mary are having to go through, because they expected him to heal Lazarus, and he didn't. As it says in verse 33, "When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled." And it says in verse 35, Jesus wept. Jesus then goes to the tomb, rolls the stone away. Seems like a nod to something that would happen in the future. And he says, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" Then he called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." And Lazarus came out of the grave walking and alive. Jesus had come and made Lazarus fully healthy, but it wasn't done in the way that Martha and Mary and everyone else would think that he would have done it. And in the time that passed before Jesus came, they had to wait and go through hurt because of it before the ultimate miracle came. And sometimes the same thing can be true for us in our lives. We may be praying for something or believing for something or needing God for something, and he doesn't answer in the way that we would want him to, or in the time frame that we think we need him to. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have a plan, and that doesn't mean he's not going to answer. And so I encourage you today, if you have something going on like this, keep praying and keep believing. God hasn't forgotten you. And while God always knows what he's going to do, he knows that we don't always know what he's going to do. And he knows that can bring us pain and hurt sometimes. And as we see in this chapter, he feels for us. It makes him sad to see us sad, and he deeply cares about us. So this just reminded me today of how much God sees us, even whenever it seems like he's not there, or he should have come sooner, or he's not answering our prayers like we would want him to. He still sees us, he still cares about us, and he's still coming and able to do whatever we need him to do, no matter what that situation may look like. And so I encourage you to keep praying and keep believing, and to remember the words of Jesus in verse 40. "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" He's still able, and he sees and he knows. And I just wanted to encourage you with that today. Thank you so much for joining me for day 11. I'd love to know what you liked about today's chapter. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 12, where we'll look at chapter 12 of John.